Welcome to the Sixth Wheels Consulting Podcast, dialoguing disability and discussing difference, inclusion, and all abilities in today's world. Now here are your hosts, Matthew Shapiro and Bob Nolly.
Folks, how are you? It's Bob. Come on in. Have a seat. How are you? Matthew, we've got company.
Yes, we do.
Matthew Shapiro here with Bob Nolly. Matthew, how you been?
I'm doing great, Bob. Making it through the holiday season and doing really well. Spending a lot of time with family, and it's been great.
Yeah, it's all good stuff. I've got to tell you, we have looped through so many different themes, items, and one of them has just been the workplace. And I read a piece in the Santa Monica Daily Press. I read that every day to look for stuff for you, for your show here.
Yes.
How many other producers are looking at the Santa Monica Daily Press here in Richmond?
You are, sir.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, that's right. On the topic of mentoring. Now, I want to step back away from the disability community for a moment and talk about coaching and mentoring and how important it is overall in the workplace. Coaches and mentors are not the same thing. They're not the same thing.
Sure.
A coach is somebody that is outside of the environment that you're in and that helps you be your best, helps you move forward. They're not sitting in the cube next to you. They're not working on the same projects you do. They may not even know the environment you're in, but they're there to help you in some way. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of ways they can help you to move forward. A mentor is different. A mentor is somebody that is on the inside and that says, well, here's what my experience has been, and this is what worked for me. And they also encourage you to move forward, but they do that from that internal perspective. So when I saw this piece in the Santa Monica Daily Press, the U.S. Department of Labor Office Disability Employment Policy announced America's Workforce Empowering All as the theme for the recently passed October Disability Employment Awareness Month. And labor statistics reported that unemployment plummeted to 3.7% in September. Now, let me stop and tell you why that's important. When the economists say that we are fully employed, that means unemployment is at 5%. Wait a minute. How can we be fully employed if unemployment is at 5%? Because there are always people out looking for a job. There are people moving in between jobs. So the economy is considered to be at full employment when unemployment is at 5%. Now it's at 3.7%. So you could say the economy is, super employed. I mean, it hadn't been this low since 1969. And, we were in the middle of the Vietnam period there. So that was keeping going on. So unemployment, though, among the disability community during the same time, when it was 3.7, was 8%.
Mm-hmm.
So somewhere, the disability community is experiencing barriers to employment. Now, excuse me if I cross out and made that difficult to consume, but I just wanted to say this. Overall, over the past couple of months, unemployment has been at 3.7% nationwide, which is a super low level. It's a crazy low level. Oh, but in the disability community, it's 8%.
Right.
So there are barriers there somewhere. So this is the Santa Monica Daily Press, of course, is a local paper, and it's talking about their area. But they brought up the whole concept of mentoring. And mentoring along the terms of empowering people to be successful in the workplace. Empowering people with disabilities to, I kind of like this phrase, and I'm going to toss this back to you and ask you what you think of it, to create a credible professional identity. How does that hit you when you hear that?
So I love it. First of all, that phrase is is super powerful, and I think mentoring is so important. But if I may, I'm gonna steer you in a different direction, if I may.
Yeah, I just threw open the front door. We can walk wherever you want.
I can. I'm gonna roll, but that's okay.
Same thing. Notice how I tee you up every time with that.
Yeah, it's perfect. Perfect. So I see the value of mentoring in an employment standpoint, but I also see the value of mentoring for a self-empowerment, developing self-determination standpoint. And we may have talked about this in a previous episode. I can't remember. But mentoring and self-determination work really is where I got my start in doing disability work. And I was mentored and I learned about self-determination. And I have people that told me the right way to do things, told me the wrong way to do things, told me different ways to approach different circumstances. And so I have been mentored, but I also have been a mentor to other people. And that is such a gratifying experience to be able to share your knowledge, your experiences, your outcomes with other people so that they too can have that type of outcome that you had.
All right, now it's my turn. I want to throw up the stop sign now.
Sure.
And ask you, when you had a mentor, how did you find them? How did they find you? What was that situation?
Sure, that's a really good question. That's what
I'm here for, man. I tell you every week. That's what I'm here for.
You are one of the best producers and questions in the business.
Your lips to God's ears, buddy. Okay.
Let me tell you. So I was really fortunate to find my mentors just through the community and through the disability community. I met a lot of my mentors doing my youth initiative work that I did growing up in my junior and senior. I started in my junior and senior year in high school and ended probably 3 years ago because I got too old, so to speak. But they're still my mentors to this day. I have two friends that I can think of, or a number of friends that I can think of that I can call up at any moment and be like, hey, I'm struggling with this issue, or I'm working on this policy issue, or how did you navigate finding a home, or how did you navigate relationships, or how did you navigate anything? And I can reach out to them at any point and say, what did you do? And I can lean on them for them to give me advice. And I'm also fortunate enough to be on the other side of that, to where I have lots of friends who call me regularly and say, hey, I'm dealing with XYZ problem. What did you do? And how did you navigate it? So I'm able to share my nuggets of wisdom and my areas of expertise to help someone else. And that's why mentoring and having a mentor is so valuable. And I would encourage any of our listeners who I want them to think about, do they have a mentor? And if they don't, how can they find one? And who could they trust to potentially be their mentor? And what are the outcomes of having a mentor-mentee relationship? Like, how could that benefit you? I know that a mentor-mentee relationship has played a huge and vital role in making me the advocate and the business owner and the person that I am today. And that is really where the spark was lit for me to do the work that I'm doing today.
That's so heartfelt and so telling. I can imagine there are, hundreds, if not thousands of people in this disability communities, listening to you say that whenever they listen to this and think, but how do I find them? I don't have them. How do I find them?
That's a really good question. Like I said, I found mine through my inner circle and getting involved in in different arenas. And honestly, it's like going up to somebody that you really admire and say, hey, can we grab coffee, or can you take me under your wing and teach me how to be a better advocate or how to be a better business owner? Can I become your mentee? Can you become my mentor?
That's so important, because that's a tough question to ask. And, of course, the first question you ask somebody the first time when they go, yeah, how can I help you? Is not, will you be my mentor? It's more like, you want to have a cup of coffee? I'd like to share what I'm working on with you.
Sure. Because that mentor-mentee relationship takes a good while to cultivate. It's not like you said, it's not like you can just meet someone and be like, hey, Bob, you want to be my mentor? Because we haven't established a relationship. And so you don't know what I'm good at. You don't know what my strengths are. You don't know what my weaknesses are. And so you don't know necessarily how to help me. And as a mentee, I don't know exactly what I'm looking for. And so it's so important to cultivate relationships over a 6 month to a year period, to really lay that mentor-mentee foundation.
Yeah, recruiting somebody, finding a mentor and getting them started, and just, seeding that relationship gives you a door to open to grow your network of professional relationships, which of course includes clients and customers, and can be a real strategy for engaging the competition as you grow your own business. This is something you're trying to do right now. So a good mentor is going to give somebody they're working with help on, it can be workplace things like getting a resume done and how to navigate interviews and how to, develop a meaningful professional relationship. But from your perspective as well, there were personal development things in addition to workplace things.
Sure.
That can be offered. And that's, those are an adult set of skills right there.
Sure. And, I learned those hard and soft skills through mentor relationships. Obviously, I kind of had them, but they were cemented by having someone show me the right way to do it or telling me the right way to do it. And I have positive outcomes there. Within your work with Labrador Leadership, cheap plug for Labrador leaders.
Thank you. You can find us at our 100 episodes over at LabradorLeadership.com. Thank you.
I love it. Do you have you addressed mentoring at all?
Yes. The whole concept for Labrador Leadership came from the concept that people were frustrated with not being prepared to be as successful as they wanted to be in the workplace. Why? They were technically very sound, but they weren't getting the call to go to the next step. And they had things they wanted to do. They wanted to take their family on a vacation. They had kids they want to send to college. Or they were tweeners and they had their parents they were going to have to start taking care of. They had things they wanted to do, and they weren't getting the call to the next step. Sharp people that could do the job, whatever it is. In business, we always talk about making widgets. That's a metaphor for the job, whatever it is. And they could do that. But why weren't they, in charge of the widget makers? And that's where this came from. And it turns out that most of the discussions I had with people, they needed a life coach in a business perspective. They wanted to, being a CEO is one of the toughest jobs, of course, and that you can imagine, because you have to be a strategy expert and a marketing expert, an operations expert, a sales expert, financial expert, and the list goes on and on. Nobody has that. If you ask 200 CEOs out of the Fortune 500 CEOs what one skill they needed help with, they're going to tell you communication. And that's a skill that we all write on our resumes. Excellent written and oral communication skills. That's just not true. But, that's what they want help with. So everybody's got a gap. And when you have a mentor, you want to have a relationship with somebody that you could tell them, I think this is my gap. Is this what you see?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they're going to go, well, if that is your gap, here's what you could do.
Sure. And
they may not be able to tell you that's your gap, but they will be able to do something just as valuable, which is, if that is your gap, here's what you could do.
And I think particularly mentoring is so important, particularly for the disability population, because you can find somebody that's been through the struggles, and you can find somebody that's navigated through college or navigated into the work world or navigated into, parenthood or adulthood. And they can really help to frame your approach when you get to that point in your life. And so that's why I constantly lean on several of my mentors on a regular basis to help me with my lobbying work, or to help me with my consulting work, or to troubleshoot an issue that I'm working through, because that lived experience that they already have is so valuable and can help me determine the right decisions and outcomes to take or make.
So there's one thing right here. I think I would be encouraging everybody, to our listeners that are within the disability community, even though it's on their outside, to just all of a sudden have the radar up to look for or be sensitive to the mentoring opportunity.
Yes.
Don't roll your eyes and go, oh, I don't have time to take that on. No, just be sensitive to that opportunity.
Yeah.
Just be aware that might cross your doorway. Because I just went to hear a speaker, I'm not going to name who it was, somebody very popular here in town. He gave a very inspirational speech. And what I said to him was, I raised my hand and asked the question. It was the only question because, I locked up everybody in the room. Oh, my God. Sometimes I've got to learn to stop doing that. But what I asked him was, here in the RVA in Richmond, if you could give all of us here one piece of advice how to help our city move forward in these trying times, what should they do? And he said this. He said, find a way to spend an hour volunteering every month. Find a way.
Yeah.
Spend an hour, not just an hour a month. And that's like, having somebody donate $1 a week. That's like nothing. But find a way and just be sensitive to that opportunity. I think volunteerism is a big missing piece of the puzzle. And, we could expand this and go on for hours on that topic. I mean, particularly what we just talked about during the previous election and all of that. But, just look for an opportunity and be sensitive to it. And then all of a sudden you do something small and bam.
And oftentimes, too, your mentor relationships can help expand your personal network.
Yeah, well, that goes without saying. Yeah.
If you develop a really good relationship with your mentor, they can point you in the direction of other things that you can try or other people that you need to connect with. I know I reach out and lean on my mentors all the time to connect me with other people that can help me with my work, that can help me with personal challenges, that can help me with all sorts of things. So it is a great tool to allow you to meet more people and to expand your network, because I always go back to this phrase, but it's not what you know, but it's who you know, who can help lead you in the right direction and on the right path. So I cannot speak highly enough of the mentor-mentee relationship and the importance in mentors, not only from a personal growth standpoint, but from a professional growth standpoint. And, if somebody is looking for a mentor, I'm always willing to be I'm a great listener. And if somebody would like to talk about what they're working on or any suggestions, I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. So, and don't be embarrassed by that, making that ask, folks. Go to the Facebook page for Six Wheels Consulting, and on that page, write, I love the episode about mentoring. I'd like to learn more. That's all you have to say.
Sure.
And then, Matthew will PM you back, and maybe a great thing starts right there.
Sure.
I'm going to let that be the last word. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to the Six Wheels Consulting Disability Podcast. This one about mentoring. Hope you've learned a lot. Keep listening. keep thinking inclusion. Keep rolling forward. On behalf of our good friend and my host, Matthew Shapiro, this is Bob Nolly. Good night.
Have a good night, everyone.